3 months ago, I was dodging calls from debt collectors. Not because I went on some crazy spending spree or bought a car I couldn't afford. No, this is way worse than that. I lost everything because of a crypto tip. Yeah, you heard that right. A cryptocurrency tip from Marcus, this guy from accounting who drives a beat-up Honda and brings peanut butter sandwiches for lunch every single day. Man, when I think about it now, I just shake my head. My name's Jake, and this Bitcoin story isn't one of those feel-good crypto millionaire tales you see plastered all over social media. This is about how one conversation changed my entire life, left me owing money I didn't have, and taught me lessons that still keep me up at night. You know what's crazy? It all started on the most ordinary Tuesday morning you could imagine. I was grabbing my usual coffee from the break room, scrolling through my phone, minding my own business. Same routine I'd been doing for 3 years at this accounting firm. Nothing special about me, nothing special about that day. Then Marcus walks up. Now, Marcus and I weren't exactly close. We'd nod in the hallways, maybe chat about the weather while waiting for the elevator. But that morning, he had this look in his eyes. This intense, conspiracy theory kind of look that immediately made me uncomfortable. "Jake, man, you gotta hear this," he says, leaning in way too close for a casual Tuesday morning conversation. I should have walked away right then, but I didn't. "There's this Bitcoin investment opportunity," he starts, and honestly, my first instinct was to roll my eyes. Everyone was talking about crypto back then. Bitcoin crashed this, cryptocurrency journey that. The crypto market was literally all anyone could talk about. But Marcus wasn't done talking. "My cousin's friend made 200 grand in 3 months. He whispers, like he's telling me state secrets or something. $200,000. I stopped scrolling through my phone. See, here's the thing about me that you need to understand. I'm not rich. Never have been, probably never will be. I make $42,000 a year, pay my rent, buy groceries, maybe catch a movie on weekends if I'm feeling fancy. $200,000 was more money than I'd ever seen in one place. How much to get started? I ask, and man, I can still hear how eager I sounded. Just 5 grand, Marcus says. But you gotta move fast. They're only taking 20 more people into this exclusive trading group. $5,000. I had exactly $4,800 in my savings account. Money I'd been putting away for 2 years, $25 here, $50 there, hoping maybe someday I could afford a decent used car or take a real vacation. "I don't know, Marcus," I tell him. "That's basically everything I've got saved up." He looks at me like I just told him I don't believe the earth is round. "Jake, this is Bitcoin we're talking about. This blockchain technology is revolutionizing everything. These kinds of crypto trading opportunities don't come around every day." He pulls out his phone, starts showing me screenshots of some trading app. Green numbers everywhere. Profits going up, up like some kind of money printing machine. "Look at these results," he says, scrolling through what looked like a gold mine of successful trades. And that's when I made my first mistake. I started doing math in my head. If I could turn 5,000 into 50,000, I could buy that car I'd been dreaming about, pay off my credit cards, maybe even think about moving out of my tiny apartment with the leaky faucet and the neighbors who blast music at 3 in the morning. Hell, if this crypto millionaire thing was real, maybe I could quit this job altogether. You know what I mean? The thing is, when you're living paycheck to paycheck and someone shows you what looks like a way out, logic kind of goes out the window. All those Bitcoin stories you hear about regular people becoming overnight millionaires start feeling real. Really real. Okay, I hear myself saying, "How do I get in?" Marcus grins like he just won the lottery himself. "I'll text you all the details." "But Jake, Seriously, don't wait on this. These spots are filling up fast. The rest of that workday was a blur. I couldn't concentrate on anything. Kept thinking about those screenshots, those profit numbers, that $200,000 his cousin's friend supposedly made. During lunch, I Googled everything I could about Bitcoin investment and crypto trading. Most of what I found was either way too technical for me to understand or these wild success stories that sounded almost too good to be true. But the numbers were real, right? Bitcoin had made people millionaires. That was documented fact. After work, I'm sitting in my apartment, staring at my laptop screen, reading about this trading group called Crypto Elite Signals. Their website looked professional. Testimonials from regular people claiming they'd made massive profits following the group's trading recommendations. There were charts showing the Bitcoin rise and fall over the years, and how their system helped people profit during both market upturns and downturns. Screenshots of crypto trading accounts with six-figure balances. Everything looked legitimate. But here's what I didn't know then, what I wish someone had told me. Anyone can fake screenshots. Anyone can build a professional-looking website. And anyone can pay people to give glowing testimonials. I sat there for hours, going back and forth in my mind. This could be my chance, my one shot at financial freedom. Or it could be the stupidest thing I'd ever done. Around midnight, I made the decision. I transferred $4,800 to their Bitcoin wallet address. Everything I had saved. As soon as I hit submit, I felt this weird mix of excitement and terror. Like I'd just jumped off a cliff and wasn't sure if I had a parachute. The confirmation email came through about an hour later, welcoming me to Crypto Elite Signals and giving me access to their private Discord server. I joined the server and found hundreds of people in there, all talking about their winning trades, sharing stories about their cryptocurrency journey to financial freedom, posting screenshots of their profits. It felt like I'd just joined some secret society of future millionaires. That night, I barely slept. Kept checking my phone, reading through the Discord messages, getting more and more excited about what tomorrow might bring. I had no idea I'd just made the biggest financial mistake of my life. But in that moment, lying in bed at 2 in the morning, I felt like I was finally doing something that could change everything. What would you have done if someone you knew showed you proof of making that kind of money? Would you have been able to walk away? Or would you have done exactly what I did? I woke up the next morning feeling like a different person. For the first time in years, I actually wanted to get out of bed. I had this energy, this sense of possibility that I hadn't felt since, man, I don't know when. The first thing I did was check the Discord server. People were already posting their overnight profits. Screenshots of accounts showing gains of hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars while they slept. One guy posted that he'd made $1,200 overnight on a single Bitcoin trade. Another woman claimed she'd made $3,000 in the past week following the group's signals. I checked my trading account balance. My $4,800 had grown to $5,160. I'd made $360 in one night. Man, I just stared at that number for like 10 minutes. $360. That was almost a week's pay at my regular job, and I'd made it while sleeping. This was actually working. At the office that day, I could barely concentrate on anything. Every time I got a spare minute, I'd check my phone, look at the Discord, watch my balance slowly climb. Marcus stopped by my desk around lunch. "How's it going?" he asked with this knowing smile. "Good," I tell him, trying to play it cool. "Really good. I told you, man. This is just the beginning." By the end of day 2, my balance showed $5,400. I'd made $600 in 2 days without doing anything except following the group's trading signals. $600. That night, I called my mom. Didn't tell her about the crypto trading, but I felt so optimistic about the future that I found myself talking about maybe visiting her for Christmas this year. Maybe even flying instead of taking the bus like I usually did. "You sound different, Jake," she said. "Happy? What's going on?" "Just some good things happening at work," I lied. Well, not exactly lied. Good things were happening, just not at my regular job. Day 3, my balance hit 5,800. Day 4, 6,200. By the end of the first week, I was looking at almost $7,000. 7,000. I'd made over $2,000 in 7 days. More money than I usually saved in 6 months, and I'd made it in a week. The Discord server was buzzing with success stories. People posting screenshots of $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 accounts. Everyone sharing their cryptocurrency journey victories. I started doing math again. At this rate, I'd have 10,000 by the end of the month, 20,000 by Christmas, maybe even more if I got access to their premium signals. That's when I got the message that changed everything. It was from one of the group admins, sent directly to me through Discord. "Congratulations, Jake. Your account performance has been exceptional. You've been selected for our VIP Elite tier. For an additional investment of just $10,000, you can access our highest level trading signals. These are the trades that create the real crypto millionaire success stories." $10,000. I didn't have $10,000, but my account balance showed almost 7,000, and I could withdraw that any time, right? Plus, if I was making this much money with their basic signals, imagine what their VIP signals could do. I spent hours that night researching personal loans. I know. What was I even thinking? But here's the thing. When you're watching your money grow every single day, when you're part of a community of people all getting rich together, taking out a loan to invest more doesn't feel risky. It feels smart. It feels like the obvious next step. I found a lending company that would give me $12,000 using my car as collateral. 14% interest, but I figured I'd pay it back within a month once my crypto trading profits really took off. The application process was surprisingly easy. They asked what the money was for. Investment opportunity, I told them. Technically not a lie. They approved me the same day. That night, I transferred the full $12,000 to my crypto trading account. Combined with my existing balance, I now had almost $19,000 invested. $19,000. More money than I'd ever controlled in my entire life. My new VIP account balance showed 22,000 and change. I was officially playing with the big boys now. The VIP signals were supposed to be life-changing. Trades that could turn thousands into hundreds of thousands. The kind of blockchain opportunities that separate the dreamers from the doers. For the next few days, everything looked perfect. My balance kept climbing. 25,000, 30,000, 32,000. I was making more money in a week than I made in 6 months at my regular job. I started getting cocky. Started telling people I was doing pretty well with some investments. Started looking at apartments in better neighborhoods. Even browsed engagement rings online, thinking maybe I could finally propose to my girlfriend Sarah. The Bitcoin investment world was treating me well, and I was feeling like I'd finally figured out the secret that everyone else was missing. But then, on day 14 of my cryptocurrency journey, something weird happened. I tried to log into my trading account to check my balance, and the website wouldn't load. Must be server maintenance, I thought. These tech companies are always updating their systems. I tried again an hour later. Still nothing. I checked the Discord server. It was gone. Just completely gone. Like it never existed. I tried to find the website again through Google. No results. That's when the first real wave of panic hit me. But I pushed it down. There had to be a logical explanation. Maybe they were upgrading their platform or something. These things happen with tech companies all the time. I'd check again tomorrow. Everything would be fine tomorrow, right? Have you ever had that moment where you know something is wrong, but your brain refuses to accept it? Where you keep telling yourself everything is fine even when all the evidence points to the opposite? That's exactly where I was that night, lying in bed, trying to convince myself that $22,000 hadn't just vanished into thin air. Day 3. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning in a cold sweat. First thing I did was grab my phone and try to log into the trading platform. Still nothing. I Googled the company name again. 0 results. Like they'd never existed. That's when the real panic started. I spent the next 6 hours trying everything I could think of. Called the customer service number from their old emails, disconnected. Tried to find any trace of the company online, nothing. Searched for the group admin's username on other platforms, didn't exist. It was like they'd vanished into thin air, taking my $19,000 with them. But wait, it gets so much worse. Remember that $12,000 loan I took out? The one with my car as collateral? The first payment was due in 2 weeks. $468 a month for 36 months. And I had exactly $47 in my checking account. I sat at my kitchen table that morning, staring at my laptop screen, trying to process what had just happened. I'd been scammed. Completely, thoroughly, professionally scammed. Those screenshots Marcus showed me, fake. Those testimonials on the website, paid actors. Those other people in the Discord bragging about their profits, probably fake accounts run by the same people who just stole my life savings. The whole thing was an elaborate con game designed to separate people like me from their money. And I fell for it. Hard. You know what the worst part was? I couldn't even tell anyone what happened. How do you explain to your family, your friends, your girlfriend that you gambled away your entire future on a crypto tip from a guy who brings peanut butter sandwiches to work? So I lied. When Sarah asked why I seemed stressed, I told her work was crazy. When my mom called to check in, I pretended everything was fine. When friends wanted to hang out, I made excuses about being busy. The loan payment came due, and I couldn't make it. The bank started calling. When I missed the second payment, they sent a tow truck for my car. I watched from my apartment window as they hooked up the only reliable thing I owned and drove it away. No car meant taking public transportation to work, which in my city meant adding an extra hour and a half to my commute each way. Getting up at 5 in the morning just to make it to the office by 9. But losing the car was just the beginning. The bank sold it at auction for way less than what I owed, which meant I still had over $8,000 in debt from a loan for money that no longer existed. They turned it over to a debt collection agency. That's when the real harassment started. Phone calls every day, sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. Letters in the mail with threatening language about wage garnishment and credit destruction. Emails with subject lines like urgent, legal action required. I stopped answering my phone. I stopped checking my mail. I started having panic attacks at work, always worried that debt collectors would show up and humiliate me in front of everyone. Meanwhile, Sarah was asking more and more questions about why I seemed so anxious all the time, why I never wanted to go out anymore, why I was taking the bus everywhere. The lies were getting harder to maintain. 3 months after I'd sent that first payment, I was sitting at my kitchen table at 2 in the morning, researching bankruptcy lawyers, when Sarah found me. "Jake, what is going on?" she asked. "And don't tell me it's work stress. You've been acting like this for months." I looked at her standing there in my old t-shirt, hair all messy from sleep, eyes full of genuine concern. And I broke. I told her everything. The crypto tip, the investment, the loan, The scam, the debt collectors, all of it. She didn't say anything for the longest time, just sat down across from me at that tiny kitchen table and stared. Finally, she spoke. $19,000, Jake? I nodded. Your entire savings plus a loan for something you didn't even understand. Another nod. Because Marcus from accounting told you to? When she put it like that, it sounded even stupider than I felt. But she wasn't angry. She was disappointed, which somehow felt so much worse. Why didn't you talk to me? She asked. We could have researched it together. We could have figured out it was a scam. And that's when I realized the biggest mistake wasn't losing the money. It was thinking I had to make that decision alone. It was believing I could shortcut my way to wealth without understanding what I was doing. It was trusting a random tip more than the person who actually cared about me. Sarah stayed with me through all of it, by the way. We worked out a payment plan with the debt collectors. I picked up weekend work to help cover the payments. We moved in together to split expenses. It took me almost 2 years to pay off that debt completely. 2 years of working 60-hour weeks, eating ramen noodles, and watching every single dollar I spent. But you know what? I learned more about money, investing, and personal finance in those 2 years than I'd learned in my entire life. I learned that if an investment opportunity sounds too good to be true, it absolutely is. I learned that real Bitcoin investment requires education, research, and risk management, not blind faith in online groups. I learned that the crypto market is unpredictable, and anyone claiming they can guarantee profits is lying to you. I learned that legitimate cryptocurrency investing exists, but it's boring, long-term, and doesn't promise quick riches. Most importantly, I learned there's no shame in building wealth slowly and safely. These days, I do invest in crypto, but I do it right. I never invest more than I can afford to lose completely. I research every investment myself instead of taking tips from coworkers. I use reputable exchanges, not random apps from Discord servers. I think of crypto as a small part of a diversified portfolio, not a get-rich-quick scheme. And I talk to Sarah about every financial decision before I make it. My cryptocurrency journey taught me that real wealth isn't built overnight. It's built through consistent, smart decisions over time. The crypto millionaire stories you see online, most of them are either incredibly lucky outliers or complete fabrications designed to separate you from your money. Here's what I wish I'd known before I sent that first payment. If someone is pressuring you to invest quickly, run. If they guarantee profits, run faster. If they want you to send money to access exclusive opportunities, sprint in the opposite direction. And if your gut tells you something feels wrong, listen to it. Trust me on this one. I know it's tempting when you see those Bitcoin success stories about regular people striking it rich. I know it feels like everyone else is getting wealthy while you're stuck in the same routine. But the truth is, most people who got rich from Bitcoin bought it years ago and held it for the long term. They didn't day trade. They didn't follow signals from internet groups. They just bought and held. That's not exciting. It's not glamorous. It doesn't make for viral social media posts, but it works. Today, I've got a small but growing cryptocurrency portfolio. I buy a little bit every month, regardless of whether the market is up or down. Some months I'm up, some months I'm down, but over time, it's trending upward. I'm not a crypto millionaire, and I probably never will be. But I'm not getting calls from debt collectors anymore either. And that feels pretty damn good. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been tempted by an investment that seemed too good to be true? Have you ever made a financial decision you regretted? More importantly, if someone you trusted came to you tomorrow with a guaranteed way to make money, what would you do? Leave a comment and tell me your story. Maybe together we can help someone else avoid the mistakes I made. Because that's what this is really about. Learning from our failures so we can make better decisions going forward. The crypto market isn't going anywhere. Bitcoin and blockchain technology are here to stay. But the scammers aren't going anywhere either. The best thing we can do is share our stories, educate each other, and make sure fewer people fall into the same traps. But what about you? How much would you trust a tip? Drop it in the comments. Maybe this story will save someone else.